She is the prettiest one on the panel, Barbara Corcoran from ABC's Shark Tank, joining us on the line. Hi, Barbara.
I love that introduction. I love you already, Jeremy.
Well, let's talk about the show because, the country's obsessed, and we've had Kevin and Robert on talking about this, but their egos. So let's tell everyone what the show is about. Entrepreneurs,
the real scoop is?
Yeah, entrepreneurs, investors, business people, they come on and they pitch an idea to you, right?
Yes. Oh, you want me to say what the show's about? Sure. Everybody comes on that show, from the most ridiculous dream to the best dream in the world, and they stand in front of the panel of people who have the cash to invest, and they say, give me your money, basically, and they pitch us as best as they can. They either get beaten up and thrown off set virtually, or they walk away with a wad of cash and their dream comes true.
And it's just you beating them up. The guys just sit by and watch. You physically remove people.
Oh, my God. It's so painful to watch those guys go at these people sometimes. And maybe it's because I'm female. I don't think I'm a pushover. I think I'm just as tough as the guys. But when they just hammer away, particularly Kevin O, the bastard in the middle with no hair. Remember that guy in the middle? He is merciless on these people. And that's why the show has a shrink that meets every single entrepreneur once they get out off the Shark Tank set. They sit down with the shrink just to make sure they don't go and kill themselves.
Oh my. Well, let's talk about this though, because you said every Tom, Dick, and Harry comes out there. So what can someone do to wow you right off the bat?
Well, you have to talk real English. What I have been finding the last season of Shark Tank, we get a lot of fancy kids that have a great education, and they're talking with all the Harvard MBA terms. And those are the people that never get the investments because you don't know what they're talking about. You don't trust them. But what people can do is, A, be genuine, and most importantly in my book, take the objections and the questions in the chin and keep coming back and fighting. Because what we're all looking for is someone that can make it to the finish line, someone that can come back at you, And you see most of the entrepreneurs fall apart in the questioning phase of the show. And you really want to be able to answer the questions and act like you mean it.
Now, we've seen that a few times where you guys invest not necessarily in the business or the idea, but the actual person. So does that really make a big difference, the person?
Let me tell you, if the person is 80% of it, what I'm always thinking when I'm hearing the pitch is, does the business, quote, make sense? If it makes sense, that's fine. The rest of it is where the critical eye comes in. How good is this entrepreneur? How strong are they? How good are they taking the pressure? Are they the kind of entrepreneur that is in love with their business and constantly talks about their passion for it, which is the majority of the entrepreneurs on there, the wannabes anyway. And then you're wondering if they're going to have the passion once they're married 5 years to the business and hating going to work every day because everything's been going wrong lately. That's really what you're looking for. You're looking for someone with stamina who could go the course, or certainly that's what I'm busy thinking of as I'm trying to figure out where to put my money.
What's a common mistake that people make? And maybe it's the lingo and the terminology you already mentioned, but what's the mistake that people make that has you shut down right away and say, I'm out?
The number one thing is when they say they're passionate, they really believe in it. It's always a red flag, all right, because usually not a lot follows that. Usually they're not so good at presenting when they start off by talking about how their heart felt about it. Because a lot of people are naive, and they really think if they believe enough, it comes true. But that's true in the movie business, I guess, or in the storybook business, but it's not true in real life. The believing in it is only a starting point. So when people yawn on and on about their belief and their passion for it, I'm like right away checking out in my head.
Some people come out there, though, and they tell you they've spent their life savings or borrowed from everybody, and a lot of times you all look shocked and disappointed. So when should somebody throw in the towel, though? I mean, we hear that entrepreneurs should never give up, never take no. I mean, what would you suggest?
They should throw in the towel, frankly, long before most entrepreneurs do, when they're mortgaging their house and spending the money that's supposed to be for the college kids' education. You see that on Shark Tank all the time. They're like desperate. And you know what I think that amounts to? It amounts to nothing more than lack of courage to call it quits. I mean, sometimes it really takes more courage to call it quits than to stay with something long after it has been unsuccessful and drained you and your family of all of its money and your friends, all right? It's amazing to me how many people come on that show and have borrowed money from family and friends and are continuing to borrow more to see their personal dream come true. I think it's preposterous, as though there's no cause for concern that you're losing your friends and your family's money. It's just amazing. Those are usually the businesses that have red flags all over them. It's simply someone who can't call it quits because they don't have the courage to say, I failed. And you want to know, lots of the most successful entrepreneurs, in fact, every single one of the entrepreneurs who are judging on the show, all of the sharks themselves, have failed at other businesses. It's not about winning every time. It's about coming back, and you don't have to just stay with the ship as it's going down if you happen to get on the wrong boat.
There's not necessarily like a time frame that, okay, I've been trying this for 10 years and nothing's worked. It's about the money, how much money you've sunk into it.
No, and you want to know what is amazing to me? Most people have a business idea. They typically go and pitch it to their family and friends who love them, and they say it's a great idea. And then they take their money on the idea, too. I think the smartest thing you could do is go and pitch your idea against your mother-in-law who can't stand, never liked you anyway, even when you married her daughter, that kind of thing, and just see what she thinks. You need to go to someone who's going to honestly tell you what they think. And the one question that so few entrepreneurs even bother to ask is there a need for this product? I mean, it sounds pretty basic, but is there a need for the product? And I would say that 3 out of 4 products we hear about, there's no need for that product. So if there's no need for it, you really better have some other thing that is making it really special. And very often there's nothing there.
Oh, you know what? I can pick your brain for hours. So entrepreneurs, I hope you're taking notes of all this. We're going to have more with Barbara Corcoran right after this.
Today's best music with Jeremy Bradley.
The countdown to Christmas continues on top of the charts and the open road, and special thanks to our listeners on SpeakFreeCelebWatch.com for tuning in today. We're talking with Barbara Corcoran, the loveliest shark on ABC's Shark Tank. Now, I have to ask, though, I mean, sometimes there's a bidding war between the sharks, and you guys are one-upping each other with offers and competing for the deal. Have you ever thought about it after and realized, I didn't even really want that one after all?
Definitely, and that's called competitive nature. And of course, none of the sharks are in the seats they're in because they're not competitive. Everybody there's competitive, and it doesn't affect me much. I have the privilege of being the female on the set when bidding is going on, and so I'm not upping my ante to compete with the guys. But let me tell you, it's great for the entrepreneurs to sit back and watch those numbers go up to the sky, and sometimes to heaven, simply because the guys don't want to lose to the next guy. So it's crazy, but I have the advantage of not having another female on the set right with me. If I did, maybe I'd feel that competitive, but I don't think so, because women are different and they do business differently than men, and that kind of competitiveness, I'll show you, tends not to be as prevalent among women who have built successful businesses. They tend to join hands with other women and build together when they can. They're more, it's a different dynamic. I don't know how I'm explaining it well, but it's definitely different with the guys.
So about that, which shark has the biggest ego?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask which shark has the biggest whatever. Are you talking about sheer ego? I would say it would have to be most easily challenged ego.
Yeah.
I would have to say Kevin O'Leary in the middle, and that's why he's so filled with all this attackness in him. He attacks everybody because I think honestly, I have to interview his mother. I don't think he was loved as a kid, and that's why he's bashing at everybody else on the show. I can't really explain it, but his ego is the most shallow, but comes across as the biggest on the show.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll get her on the line and we'll both chat with her. Okay,
oh,
we'll do that.
Wouldn't you love to interview the moms of the sharks and really find out if they were even popular on the playground?
Well, let's see that. Now, okay, which shark then would you call if you were in a jam and needed help on the other side of the world? Who would come to to rescue you?
Oh, easily, Damon John. 150% sincere. What he says he means. He came out of the ghetto. He started, his first business was stealing bikes and selling the parts in the ghettos of the South Bronx. He did three-car Mountie, is that the name of that game? If you go to Times Square in New York, the guys who take your money because they switch 3 cards around, have you guess which one has the penny under it? He did that for a living. His mother, who was a cab driver her whole life, negotiated his multi-million-dollar deal for FUBU when he sold to a big portion of the company to investors here in New York when he was a kid. He was like 24, and his mother's negotiating the deal for him, a cab driver. Come on. He's seen it all. He's done it all. You need help, you call him. If he's not available, he'll send a gang from the South Bronx to make sure you help. He's a definite stand-up guy. Shark
Tank Friday nights on ABC. Barbara Corcoran, thank you so much for joining us today, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you.
All right.
Today's best music with Jeremy.